I don't know what I write anymore. If you guys want to tell me, that'd be good. This is a thing. This is a thing that I wrote. It's called About Still Lifes. It was originally from About Still Lifes, as if there were like 18 million parts of this thing that were going to show up, but they never showed up. So this is just now About Still Lifes, and it has 2 parts and an introduction, so 3 parts in all. It's longish, but I'll try to read it quickly. I'm just kidding. I'll read it at the normal pace where you can hear what I'm saying. Introduction. Still lifes often involve tables, fruits, flowers. If there is something falling, then the subject matter is time. If skull, vanity. If bubble or a house of cards, then youth, ephemerality. In French, still lifes are called dead nature. In Latin, vanity. In all countries, there are stillbirths, which are deaths. Chinese paintings of lakes or mountains or lovers or ducks are, in many ways, still lifes. In many ways, they are not. Shu, a Chinese term, isn't about still lifes, but it is about stillness, among other things. Still lifes are how students learn to paint when they are young. Still lifes are not from memory, but from the eye. They are supposed to be true. The young have fewer memories is a claim I have heard. Still life is a tradition, though we have yet to put a still life on a coin. I would like to make an argument about opulence. The Dutch opulence, the French opulence, opulence in the 19th century, American opulence, opulence of the blind, Apache opulence, opulence of oranges in a bowl. It is not too late for opulence. 1. A painter locks up his oil paints because they smell bad and require too many layers. I sit down in his apartment, preventing it from being a still life. As if to make a point, but not quite making it, instead having a visit. My mother framed 2 still lifes I painted in high school, I tell the painter. Bottles, a plant, the details. I didn't get the leaves right, and I knew that the best still lifes were true, or at least not wrong. A still life does not have to be ornate to be good, and it does not have to be saturated. I tell the painter that Americans are used to more sweetness now, and because of that, we taste it differently than we did as recently as 20 years ago. I was reading about it, how everything is brighter and more necessary. Is this need? When I leave his apartment, the painter sits across from his couch and watches it. 2. My art teacher is bald, has a round stomach, is at a computer, is showing me a website where there is a painting by Chardin. In my mind, he is still my teacher. Not to belabor the point. To belabor the point, in the memory I am absorbed by him as by a Chardin, or as someone in a Chardin, or as Chardin himself. As by a rabbit hanging by its feet against a black background, as by the salon of 1789. As by a rag, as by sewing, as by women frozen in time cleaning turnips, as by a spinning coin. To be a still life, you must eschew all people. The dirty dinner plate is almost too human, but it is still allowed, perhaps even exactly right, generically speaking. Still lifes are all about humans, and therefore you cannot say human. Still lifes are all about things, traces of humans. They are obviously about whoever put the pear down after 2 bites, about the lace ruffles the maid put on the table, about the diamonds and the skulls and the handwritten letters we can't quite make out through the picture plane, and the bread that isn't bread but paint, and the silver chalices that we know that we need to keep on living. And then these are the room poems. They're about rooms that are over there. That's my house. So the 3 poems are grouped as the room poems. There's the kitchen poem, the bathroom poem, the living room poem. They're about my kitchen, bathroom, living room. You got that, right? Okay. The kitchen poem. Everything fell over in my kitchen all at once. It was horrible and literal. I couldn't stop it, and watching it all fall over like that brought me no pleasure. This is the situation of the kitchen, a place where the literal happens. It is horrible. It is a horrible place. The bathroom poem. You're not supposed to laugh. The bathroom poem. It's not about pooping. It's a little bit about pooping. The bathroom poem. I have many things to read in my bathroom. If I don't do it there, I'll do it somewhere else. It is important to have several thoughts several times every day. I propose that it does not matter what or where. The living room poem. The living room is where my television is. At the end of the day, I sit with Tyra Banks so she can calm me down. Drama is inside, not outside my house. I come into it and take my clothes off. The living room is where I can literally be naked as often as I want to be. The living room is not a place for reading or for thinking, but for closelessness. Now it's okay to laugh. There's a funny story about this one, but I'll tell you in a minute. This is called Me Town. Okay. It's silly, I should tell you. I don't take this seriously. Anyway, Me Town. There is a town where many of me live. We all spell our name differently, and some of us say it differently, but we are all me. It is a happy town. Its citizens are all me. We spend our lives avoiding suffering. Suffering is not inevitable is our town slogan and our fight song. We put it on bumper stickers and sing it when we play neighboring towns in basketball. We yell it when we win, and we yell it too when we lose. There is no church on Sundays because everyone is Jewish. Everyone is me. In this town, there is a chamber ensemble that performs in the bandshell on Thursday nights when it is not raining. We play Suffering is Not Inevitable on tuned Indiaphones for those of us who are not watching television or making a quiet dinner at home. In this town, we all spend our lives avoiding suffering. It is a happy town. So the funny story there is this was occasioned by I get Google alerts when my name shows up on Google. And there's this woman who lives in England and writes books about she writes cartoon books. She's a cartoonist. She writes books about her experience in a wheelchair. And so she is all over Google. Like it's like her goal in life is to push me lower and lower on Google. So if you Google Hannah Ensor, in quotes or out of quotes, whatever, you get like 3 pages of this cartoonist woman who's writing about being in a wheelchair, and God bless her. I'm so glad she's doing well, but you can't find me at all. So at one point I was like, well, what if I type in Hannah Ensor poems? Doop, boop, doop. So I typed in Hannah Ensor poems, and I came up, one of the earliest results was for this woman named Hannah Ensor who lives in Austin, Texas, and is a designer, but she also writes poems, and some of her poems are on her website, which is why Hannah Ensor Poems takes you to her. And I clicked on her website, and I looked at her picture, and I thought, oh, she's cute. And then I had this vision of, like, flying to Austin, Texas, and making out with Hannah Ensor, and I was like, what does that mean? What would it mean if I was dating Hannah Ensor? And then I was suddenly in this world where everyone was Hannah Ensor, and that's what happened here. Okay. This next one's called I Cannot Be Consoled. Accidental segue because I can't be consoled. I'm just like, so. Okay. I cannot be consoled. I had entirely forgotten which exile sadness was. I had wanted to get it entirely. Watch as I implement an idea. Many feet drowning as if in a pond, descent into a hole. If John Travolta is in this room, he is being quiet. Sadness is an exile. I cannot be consoled. It is bad, I mean good, to love a boy. He is an emotion. I am feeling Travolta today, and I cannot be consoled. I descend. I had wanted to be a man, but not everything can be chosen. I must have entirely forgotten his pretty face. I could hardly see it. Watch. My draining bra, the sunset over the party store. I tried something, and I cannot be consoled. A few more. 2 more. This one's long also. I won't read it fast. This is Cafe Persons. You guys get the inside scoop. It's about sitting at Bentley's. Cafe Persons. Persons 1 through 4. The first 4 persons appear to each other in the cafe. Oh, I'm going to interrupt myself. There are 2 quotations in this poem that I'm just going to breeze through as if they're not there. The first one is from Maggie Nelson, from Bluets. She says, and we have not heard enough, if anything, about the female gaze. And the second one is from Henry David Thoreau, Walden. He says, I should not talk so much about myself if there were anybody else whom I knew so well. I'll just breeze